Howdy folks, I am your Princess ChaoticAyana, you are all beautiful and I am so excited. I'm going to get to do something I have always wanted to do. We are going to review a Mario game. Let's take a look at Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. Now, quick note up front here folks, I don't think that Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury play all that much alike. So what we're going to do is take a look at them separately. There's a little time code on your screen right now. If you jump to there, that is where I will talk about Bowser's Fury and it'll be towards the end of this video. Anyway. So Mario has been a thing now for almost as long as myself. I am 37, Mario is now 36, the 35th anniversary was actually last year. And one of the major complaints you hear from critics is that all of the games are the same, and yeah, there's some validity to that, honestly. I'm going to steal a bit from Yahtzee Croshaw here, but if I'm going to steal from anyone, it's going to be a great. And we can all do this: Forest World, Lava World, Desert World, Ice World, mushrooms, fire flowers, star plants. We all know all of this stuff, right? Star plants? What am I talking about? Stars. But there's a lot of standard Mario trappings. We all know this. I'm going to say, though, I think that has some benefit. Look at how amazing all of this looks. The sound, the art, the animation, the movement, the overall presentation. 35 or 36 years of doing this across numerous consoles, and Nintendo have iterated all of this to damn near perfection. I absolutely adore the look and feel of every single Mario game, this one especially, and even when it's been up-res to HD, it is still timeless Mario. I mean, ultimately, there's a reason your grandmother used to call every single games console a Nintendo and every video game Mario. It's just iconic in the absolute realist sense of that word. Now, in the case of 3D World in particular, it feels like we're getting a celebration of all of those Mario games that came before it. And we've got mechanics that are drawn from a bunch of the previous games, like being able to play as Luigi, Toad or Peach from Mario 2, and each having their own unique gameplay style. Now, you may notice, the more observant among you, that most of my footage is from playing as Peach. And yeah, I know she has the reputation as being the easiest character because of her little hover move. Not quite true in my opinion, but it's there. I am going to correct that little misconception, at least about myself. Nothing to do with how easily she plays or how difficult she plays for that matter. I'm trans, Peach is kind of one of my transition goals. She's really an inspiration, honestly. Why am I telling you all this? Largely because I want to ask Nintendo to give us another standalone Peach game. The last one was on the DS, I think. I absolutely loved it. Nintendo, more of that please, come on. Anyway. So with a lot of things being very familiar if you've played a Mario game before, let's talk about the major new addition, the cat power-up. First off, and I'm telling you this because I absolutely love this story, supposedly when they originally developed the game, all-round wonderful human being and guardians of all things Mario, Shigeru Miyamoto, was not keen on the catsuit. To convince him, his subordinates bought him a kitten as a present, and successfully managed to sell him on the idea. I have no idea how true or false this story is, and I actually don't want to find out. Please do not put in the comments if it's false. I love that story. I will say I think that story is true, and appears to have been very successful, almost to a fault, because the cat motif is everywhere in 3D World. I think literally everything in the game gets to try out being a cat at some point. Player, the enemies, Bowser, hell, even the plants and bushes, look at them. Bowser's Fury even feels like it takes that a step further, and, well, you remember that whole thing on Twitter a while back where everything was cake for some reason? Well, this time around everything is a cat. It feels less upsetting and far more adorable as far as I'm concerned. Now, it's not all about aesthetics. The cat form actually has a really important function in design. It's supposed to bridge the gap between 2D Mario and 3D Mario, which is why it lets you do stuff like scale walls. That helps you if you miss a jump. Or the melee attack, which has got a surprising amount of range on it. It's designed to help you deal with enemies with the whole depth perception thing going on. Maybe you aren't sure how close you are. The cat form deals with that. It gives you a lot of survivability options. I mean, at least until you get the 5th character unlocked, who gives you far more. This leads us on to our first negative for the game though. The catsuit is pretty much overpowered compared to the rest of the items in the game. Doesn't affect a standard playthrough so much, but if you're finding the collectibles in a 100% run, it's practically required that you go back and get the cat form to search every nook and cranny. Levels 6-1 and 6-3 looking in your direction here. It becomes a chore, and this is the last Mario game that has the live system, and it's something they removed because Nintendo felt people were just going back and grinding for lives and stuff like that. Obviously I've been playing Mario for a long time, I'm quite good at it, but I had to go and grind for the catsuit way more than I ever had to grind for lives while I was playing this. There is a weird criticism I've been hearing since 3D World came out on the Switch. I don't recall hearing it when it came out on the Wii U originally, and it's to do with the controls. People seem to think it's really tricky to work out where your character is going to go because of the isometric style view perspective. I don't really agree. People keep saying that the system in Odyssey or Galaxy is better, and it's different, but you're not really comparing like with like in my opinion because of the way those games play. There is one place I will say it's a massive issue though, and that is what I call the parade levels. I don't really know if there's a better name for them, but what I mean are these things. And yes, I know they're a homage to Mario 3, but they're auto-scrollers, they give me real issues with perspective and control direction, and they're just kinda dull. If you want to give me a Mario 3D homage, why didn't you just make the Koopalings the bosses? Which brings me on to another negative. The bosses in 3D World are just kinda meh. None of them are specifically bad mechanically, but they're all just a bit unmemorable and a bit just there. Hell, we only see Bowser like 2 or 3 times in the entire game, and he doesn't even have Peach this time. He's got a lot less to be getting on with, if you know what I mean. You could have kept the mechanics the same for these bosses and just changed them to be the Koopalings. They would have been a lot more memorable. That really is it for negatives from me, folks. The game is just amazing. It is an absolute joy to play from beginning to end. One last thing though, and this is more of a personal question for me really. Why is it whenever you defeat a boss, there's one of those clock power-ups that gives you more time? I mean, you're always heading immediately to the flagpole anyway. I'm sure it would suck if you ran out of time between killing the boss and getting to the end of the level. This feels like a weird solution to me though. Why not just stop the timer or something? I would genuinely be fascinated to hear people's thoughts on this one. Drop them in the comments section if you have them. I remember thinking this felt weird when it came out on the Wii U, and it still feels weird now. Oh, one last note on the main game actually. You can have online co-op with up to 4 players. I don't have much to say about this specifically other than to tell you it's here, and it's not how the levels were intended to be played, that's clear, but it's still great fun in a party setting, even if the shared live pool does mean that you need to have a similar skill level to everyone playing if you want to avoid frustration. So the main game is a re-release of what is an absolute classic. What about Bowser's Fury then? You know what? I am not quite sure what to make of Bowser's Fury. First off, all of the presentation stuff I said above, improve it just a tiny smidge and then apply it here. You can only play as Mario, which is a little bit of a bummer because let's face it, nobody plays as him in 3D World. He's the worst character. But you do get an interesting team-up companion this time in the form of Bowser Jr. Something which did make me a little sad though, unless I'm missing something really obvious, the online multiplayer feature from the main game is absent in Bowser's Fury. It does have co-op, but it's couch co-op only, which I haven't tried because I have Joy-Con drift and it's absolutely horrific. Nintendo, you need to get on fixing that. So the gameplay in Bowser's Fury is a little bit weird. It's a mashup of Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, and I guess Godzilla. So we're doing the Power Star, Shine, Moon collectible thing from Mario 64 up to Mario Odyssey. This time around they're called Cat Shines because of course they are, everything is now cat. There are 5 of these in each little Mario 64-like area, and those areas are all interconnected seamlessly with an open world, which has 1 or 2 other shines dotted around the place. So what's actually going on in Bowser's Fury? Well, for reasons the game kinda doesn't really bother to explain, Bowser goes from being that kind of go-karting buddy of Mario's who will occasionally try and steal his girlfriend when they're on nights out, to a full-blown kaiju. Mario responds, as I'm sure we all would, by turning into a Super Saiyan cat and fighting it. That is the story of Bowser's Fury. So, over the course of normal gameplay, Bowser will occasionally just sort of remember you're there and he'll start spraying fire breath, making it rain lava, and generally just ruining your day. Here's the gimmick though. If you collected enough of the cat shines, you get to turn into the Super Saiyan cat and slap his ass right back to the furniture. And that is honestly kind of it. I mean, if I'm coming off as negative here, I don't mean to be. It's just this feels to me like Nintendo made a little internal tech demo trying to work out what to do with Mario next, and then polished it all up and released it as DLC. And for the record, I'm totally fine with that. It's just gonna feel really weird if this is the only thing we ever get in this style. You know what I gotta tell you folks, Mario fan though I am, I was a little bit dubious when I heard they were releasing this. It's a Wii U game with maybe a little bit of DLC, and they're releasing it on Switch for full price, and that's something Nintendo does a lot and I really, really hate. But I will be damned if Mario 3D World doesn't feel like it deserves to be in this price range. I honestly can't recommend it enough. The same goes for Bowser's Fury, honestly, and I know I've sounded maybe a little bit overly negative on it. I'm not, it's a great play, I'm just confused as to what it is. I think it might have been maybe a pre-Odyssey tech demo that they polished up a little bit, and again, that's totally fine. I just, strong recommend for both of them, honestly. I'm just going to be fascinated to see if we get anything else like Bowser's Fury going forward. So, for the observant among you, or at least those of you who are listening, you may have noticed I didn't discuss difficulty in Mario 3D World, and the reason I decided not to do that was because when I was thinking about it for the review, I thought maybe let's have a little bit of fun. Over the next 2 weeks, I am going to be ranking all of the Mario games in order of difficulty. It's something I'm really looking forward to doing. It's going to be a lot of fun. You'll be seeing part 1 next week. Not entirely sure what the video is going to look like yet, but I hope the idea sounds appealing. I will see you all then, folks. Until then, you are all beautiful. I am your Princess ChaoticAyana. Peace. I'm out.